So welcome each and every one of you for today's presentation. So in the series
Recording in
of
progress.
Today our DDG Fisheries Sciences, Dr. Jena will be making the presentation. So Dr. Jena, welcome.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much.
Of course, now I can see you. Okay. Okay, Dr. Jena, so thank you very much for kindly accepting our request and to make this presentation. And today, again, as usual, our friends and colleagues from different institutes have joined in very large number. I can see some of the halls are quite full and already quite large number, around 300 are there with us. So total could be maybe around 2,000 or so. So this is a great opportunity, Dr. Jena, for all of us to interact with almost everyone who is directly or indirectly connected to ICAR. So friends, without taking much of the time, I request Dr. Jena to please make the presentation. Dr. Jena, over to you, please.
Good evening, everyone. Most respected Honorable Secretary here and DG ICAR, Dr. Himanshu Pathakji, colleague DDGs. I'm sure Secretary ICAR and FA there also are there. Esteemed colleagues, directors of all the institutes, head of the regional centers, scientist colleagues, and colleagues, maybe technical personnel are also there in some of the places. I am given to understand some of our senior colleagues have also joined. Ladies and gentlemen, it is indeed a great opportunity, rather a privilege for me to be here to present before you the work of the Division of Fisheries Science at the Council. What we do, what we like to do, maybe your advice and guidance also would be able to help us to check out the program for our future endeavor. Friends, before I share my presentation, I would like to mention also, as I understand, DGs have mentioned that all of you are there from different disciplines. As I understand, about 90% maybe from non-fisheries discipline. So it is a great opportunity for me to put forth what we do before all of you, so that we feel at the end of the day, you also appreciate our work. So I sincerely thank again Honorable Secretary and DG ICAR for this great opportunity. And probably I am the last one in this series. As usual, any party we go.
No, Dr. Jena, you are not the last one. There is one more actually.
extension. I do understand extension is remaining.
Not only one. There are many more going to come.
Okay, thank you so much, sir. Thank you so much, friends. Can I ask? Yeah. Friends, as I like to mention, we are working in a discipline, probably the knowledge level in this discipline, even professional like us, is quite low. Why it is low, let me tell you. Friends, for example, today we say about 65,000 of vertebrates are available on Earth. Out of 65,000 vertebrates, we are one human being. And fish, there are about 33,000 fishes. That means over 50% of the vertebrates available in the earth are fish species. Again, when we say fish, it also includes shrimp, lobster, crab, maybe mollusks like cephalopods or bivalves, gastropod, and even the seaweeds we consider under the fish, broad definition of fish. In that context, probably our knowledge is quite low. Whatever we do, still it is abysmally low. Coming to again, second point, we work in an environment below water. What is happening below water? Rarely we see the fish, and many times many assumptions we do. Of course, some of the study we do through biological study and all, we like to understand what they eat, how they migrate, what they feed, or how they breed. All those things we try to understand, even though the animals are below water. Third thing before I like to mention, probably even when we go to a party or go to a hotel, when we see a menu card, you will find the vegetables, what vegetables curry you will have, the mutton, chicken, and the fish. Even though we say that there are hundreds of fish available, commercially available fish, still we consider all are fish. Even if you ask to the chef which fish he has cooked, except 2-3 like shoal or basha or hilsa or maybe kingfish, they will not go beyond a dozen of fish in their menu. So it is very difficult for us, even people like us who are fish consumers, even we do not know what fish we are consuming. That is what are the issue. Again, before, let me share some presentation mine. Are you able to see my presentation?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Thank you very much again for the presentation on the Fisheries Science Division on the activities, aspiration, and action plan, which we have prepared. Of course, friends, all of you know the template on which we are trying to present is prepared by none other than our Secretary there and DG ICAR. Of course, we tried to add little more here and there, thinking that our audience are quite broad and from different disciplines. So we try to add a few more slides beyond whatever the template was given to us. So pardon me if I am going this side or that side little away from the template slide. Excuse me for that. Before I proceed, let me also just put forth before you the fish on which we work. We call it a natural superfood. That is not what I am calling. The FAO also says as a natural superfood. Out of the 10 superfood definition by the Harvard Medical School, fish comes one of them. So important for us, not only for the dietary proteins, but also for health benefits and all, which I don't need to mention. All of you know whether it is protein or the essential amino acids, what we are talking of, omega-3 fatty acids like EPA, DHA, vitamin, and minerals, and so forth. But when we talk of about the fish production, we are talking in a two different scenario. One is a primitive fishing methods like hunting and gathering. Now also it is prevalent. If you talk of today production, probably 40% of the total production still comes from hunting and gathering. That is means catch from the open waters, whether it is rivers, estuaries, or open sea. Of course, in recent years, you will see that the bulk of our production again coming from the farming, aquaculture, which I will be discussing. So two broad areas. One is on the capture, contributes substantially. On the other hand, also the aquaculture, which is a growing sector. That is what we say. If we look the sectoral growth in last 7 decades, we find from nowhere, from less than 0.75 million ton, we have come to somewhere around 16 million ton, a 21-fold increase in 7 decades, unparalleled growth. And we boast that we are the second largest global fish producer as well as second largest aquaculture producer, but maybe much behind the top position China, but still our growth has been substantial. When we look at the growth rate of China and India, recent years the growth rate of India has been quite higher than the China. So of course, whether we'll reach to that level or not, that's a different thing, but the growth is substantial in recent years. And if we see the growth rates, last 3 decades, consistent growth rate of 6 to 7% in aquaculture, that has contributed to about somewhere around 10 million ton, over 10 million ton of aquaculture production. Again, if you look at the sectoral growth, the GDP growth of almost 11% last 5 to 6 years, annual growth rate, which is quite substantial. And as we say that, we are also one of the largest exporting commodity we export. Our export has been somewhere around 58,000 crores. And all has been possible mainly because one sector, brackish water farming, the stream sector, which is contributing by about 35,000 crores. Coming to the institutes, fisheries, our sector, our division, we have 8 fishery research institutes. 2 of the institutes started before even the independence in 47, before in February and March 47. If you look at the right-hand side picture of 8 institutes, I will say this 8 institutes, all except 2 institutes which are a bit small, NPFGR and DCFR, last 2 picture if you see. Otherwise, all are bigger category institute where more than 60 scientists we have. And clear demarcated research line where there is no overlap at all. For example, CMFRI and CFRI working on open water resources. Of late, they have diversified into aquaculture also in the marine, CMFRI mariculture and cage aquaculture in the reservoirs and wetlands and all CIFRI. But major domain of their work has been on the natural resources. The SIFA and SIBA working on again aquaculture in freshwater and brackish water. Since 1987, these 2 institutes have been working in their domain areas. And CIFT on harvest and post-harvest technology, and only deemed university, the CIFT at Mumbai. Since 1961 establishment, it has been serving for the human resource development. And at present, mainly the master and PhD program we have been trying to do. A bureau working on the similar line of NBPGR, NBAGR, working on genetic resources, and a cold water dedicated institute for cold water development. Considering some of the northern states have a good resources in the cold water. Coming to the scientific strength in position, we are in good position. I would say the occupancy level is somewhere around 82% scientists. Of course, whatever vacancies are there, that is in the higher positions, mainly the principal scientist, senior scientist, and HOD level. Otherwise, at the junior level, we do not have almost nil vacancy at this point of time. So that we are in a better position now. But of course, as other divisions, the technical, administrating, and supporting cadre are quite less, about 60% in all other cadre. I sincerely believe the ICAR is taking corrective steps for recruitment of all those. And we have 4 network projects at this point of time: mariculture, health, ornamental, and AMR are the 2 network projects which we initiated with our internal funding last 3 years. Of course, we sincerely believe these 2 networks will be in place during the current SFC or EFC. And one CRP, we are working on genomics. Of course, as you know, all the CRP, we have been working on multidiscipline, crop, horticulture, animals, fish, insect, and microbes, where 9 institutes have been involved. And one good thing is AICRP and AINP, we do not have any manpower, scientist, or any technical cadre. So the liability, financial liability on human resources is non-existent in this division. We are working on supporting the blue reversion. I don't say that we are working on blue reversion, but support to the blue reversion program of the country with a vision, fish for all, forever. Not only today we are talking of sustainable production, but sustainable utilization. That has been another target of ours. And when you look at our mission, we not only consider the present human need, but also the habitat for which the sustainable growth, what we are looking at through interfacing research, education, and extension system. That is our mission. And we also think how do we contribute to the global fisheries. At this point of time, we contribute over 7% to the global fisheries production. Recent past, we have been trying to have some orientation on different levels, addressing the research gaps, whatever research gaps we have with new programs and all. That is what we are trying to do, restructuring, reorienting, and prioritizing the research programs, and strengthening the whatever we are trying to implement, monitor, and evaluation mechanism also we are trying to strengthen. So that there is a greater deal of transparency and accountability. Whatever we have done is too little, but these efforts need to be continued. It is not only for our divisions, it is all the time council is trying to see that we reorient our programs and what efforts need to be continued for time to come also. We know the expectations are too large today. Every day new expectations from all fronts. It is not from only one level, expectations from the council, expectations from the higher level like PMO, Niti Aayog, and even the expectations from line departments, from the state machineries are increasing too high, and which often difficult for us to meet these challenges. But we need to have a strategy. How do you meet these expectations? We know even 7 decades back, our major expectations or goal was to increase production and productivity. Even today also that becomes relevant. Along with that production productivity, we know other challenges, whether it is quality, safety aspects, variety, which is so important for fish. None of us who are fish consumers like to have same rohu or even the shrimp every day. If we like to, if in 7 days, maybe lunch and dinner, we like to have every time different dishes. We don't like to have same fish. So variety becomes so important. At the same time, as I told, we are working with natural resources. So environment upkeep is so important. Biodiversity conservation is so important at a point of time when we are facing the issues of climate change. We are talking of equity, gender. When we talk of natural resources, this need to be also considered equally. And export has been our primary focus. And for example, Government of India has set a target from whatever export at this point of time from 58,000 crores to 1 lakh crores in next 2-3 years of time. A Herculean task, definitely. When you look at the short-term target in the next 3 to 4 years, the objective before the country is we need to produce 16 million ton from aquaculture, which is need to be a major contributor. So how do we, how the research system contributes to this production is so important. We have been talking of species diversification, high value species, very important, but at the same time, we cannot forget bulk of our or large chunk of our domestic consumption need to be at the grassroots level from the rural front. So who will not be able to afford high value for the high value species. So carp need to be remain as a main species which we consider cheap fish along with the carp, whether it is catfish or tilapia, other aspects also will remain relevant. We have not been able to tap much the potential of the mariculture. That is what the Government of India Deep Sea Mission also is talking about at this point of time. We have a good record of producing shrimp production. If you look at last 30 years from nowhere, from 28,000 tons in 88, 89 to today about 10 lakh ton of shrimp we do produce. In spite of the fact that we say that our growth has been substantially high, but we are utilizing only about 16 to 18% of the potential resources. That shows the potential strength what we have to expand the brackish water sector. We need to talk of again non-conventional system, intensive system, what we have been talking in recent years, whether it's bioblock, RAS, etc., etc. But how much we give focus, we need to be again working on those. Several non-food species, whether it is ornamental, seaweed, or pearl, and so forth. Whatever the growth we have been able to achieve, if you look at the ground level also, it is mostly due to the input, higher inputs, whether it is good food, feed, or the seed, or aeration, and so forth. But the time before us is you cannot go on increasing with the increasing input. So we need to think for alternate. I don't say that along with the input, we need to think how our technology, how our knowledge will contribute to enhance the production and productivity. There only our role of R&D comes. We have been talking of interdisciplinary research solutions, including the cutting edge areas. Probably a time has come that how do we intensify these efforts are so important at this point of time. When I say interdisciplinary research solution, it is not within the institutes only, but among the institutes, or intra-institutes also equally important. We have been talking of cooperation, collaboration, and convergence. Last few years, we have been witnessing how everybody is focusing on convergence. Different ministries, different departments, and everybody, all of us know the goal for all of us are same. But still, time has come. How do we enhance our effort on collaboration, cooperation are so important at this point of time. When I talk of achievements, I have tried to just the last 6 to 8 years achievement I have tried to give, not before. For example, today, if you talk of breeding and seed production, you ask to anybody that how many fish species are available for farming in India. Still, people say only 6 to 8 species or 10 species. Let me tell you, we have at least 75 species where technologies are available for implementations. And the country like India, so vast country with different climate, each of the state has, again, consumer preferences are so different. These species which are in the West, maybe only 200 rupees kilo, maybe, for example, I will give a chitala, for example, maybe 200, 300 rupees per kilo somewhere, but the places like Northeast, it can be 1,500 rupees. A small fish like maybe gonias, we consider maybe a small carp, maybe 100 rupees, but in the Northeast, it may be 500 to 600 rupees. So we are not talking of a blanket recommendation for the whole country. Even 2-3 states, one species can be adopted, that is good enough. In last few years, 7-8 years, we have been able to breed about 2.5 dozen of fish species, which are difficult. Let me tell you, all those pictures, what you are seeing, all those species are very high value species, and it takes about 3 to 5 years for maturity. So if today we have developed the breeding technology, by the time it reaches to commercial level of production, it will take at least 5 to 8 years, because one generation will production of seed will take about 4 to 5 years for each of these species. So whatever the species we have been able to breed, for example, 10 years or 15 years back, I don't go back. If you talk of calves, maybe every Tom, Dick, and Harry are able to breed. For example, sea bass, about 15 years back, we have breeding technology we have developed. Now it has gone to commercial level. The cobia, silver pompano, which we bred about 10 years back, now it has gone to commercial level production. So a period of about 5 to 8 years definitely is necessary for taking, and all these species have a very high potential when we do talk of the open sea cage farming in future, or even the brackish water farming, diversification of brackish water farming other than streams. That is what, whether milkfish or grey mullet and so and so forth. We have been trying to bring also several of the endemic species which are getting threatened or to the domestic farming. So if you look at even the last 3 years, that is what was asked, last 3 years, as many as 10, 11 species we have been able to breed. And which we think another 4 to 5 years it will come to the farming and all. And a book we have been able to we have published about 2 years back on the breeding and seed production. Let me tell you, some of the state you will find at least 20 to 30 species are bred by the farmers or commercial hatcheries. So today these species which are bred, difficult species what we talk, maybe tomorrow it will be taken up by the private entrepreneur. And several MOUs we have also signed with the several commercial entrepreneurs for handholding and the commercial hatchery establishment. This is one area we had not given any focus even 10 years back. If you look at even just 10 years back, we had not given much focus on ornamental fish. Our focus was only the low value species, whether it is goldfish, or black molly, red swordtail, all those which are very cheap fish only. But recent years, we have been able to breed very high value species, whether it is damsels, clowns, and all marine ornamentals, as many as over 20 such marine ornamentals we have been able to breed in last few years. And it is not only breeding, taking the technology to the to the entrepreneurs level through different programs under SCSP, TSP program. That is what I consider the SCSP and TSP program is a boon for us to take the technology also to the ground level. Several of the freshwater fish, all the time we used to say all the freshwater fishes are cheap varieties, but some of the fish in the last row you will be able to see very high value ornamental. So it is necessary that we bring those commercial level production. And another important thing, all those what you see in the last row, all those are highly endangered and having, and they are endemic to certain pockets, whether endemic to peninsular region, endemic to northeast region and all. So it is high time for us to not only just for breeding, but also it will help us for conservation of these genetic resources for future years. Some of the system diversification, that means farming technology. We have been working on different technology. Of course, I don't like to mention the number of is important. Few of the technology has done significantly well. For example, the stream farming in inland saline soils in Punjab, Haryana, Rajasthan, Western UP and all. And you will find maybe 5 years back, we were just trying to demonstrate the farming protocol. Today, as many as 1,200 hectares farming is going on. Whatever the technical guidance, support and technical backstopping, this in our center at Rohtak CIEFP has been able to provide. And today, as per the latest figure is given to me, more than 7,000 tons of shrimp production is there this area. If you talk of today, I am sure for those who are fish eaters and nearer to Delhi, if you go to the Gazipur market, you get shrimp of 20 gram size of Benami at 250 rupees or 300 rupees, much less than maybe coastal region. So probably time has come for to look at how the domestic markets and once the production increases, we will be working on those areas also. Some green farming technology, whether it is organic farming or biofloc system, not only for shrimp or other diversified species, integrated multi-trophic aquaculture. When we are talking of the issues of when you talk about the cage culture, people point the finger on us that probably it will lead to the pollution, more load of nitrogen and phosphorus to the water. For a remedial measure, seaweed and cage farming has been shown to be highly beneficial, integrating those, and we know it has been able to help the seaweed, how it is helping for carbon sequestration besides uptake of nutrients like nitrogen and phosphorus, and besides increasing the production of seaweed to at least 70% higher, that has been demonstrated. We have been trying to work on alternative species of Benami last few years. As many as 30 demonstrations we have done in the different coasts in almost all the states, and the production level almost at par up to 710 has been demonstrated with indigenous species. Open sea cage culture of cobia, pompano, seabass has become a reality. If you see last few years, more than 2,500 cages has been added. More than today, more than 3,500 cages have been installed in all along the coast with the production of such high value species. In all the places, RAS is another important addition for the rainbow trout, and all of you know, when you talk of rainbow trout production, everybody talks of raceways. But when you look at the intensive production, minimizing the water usage and all, these are some of the technology we have been trying to highlight. One of the other, as I told, knowledge-based production should be the key for the future. For that, how the genetic potential of the species will be able to harness are so important. We had started with the selective breeding program of the Rohu about 30 years back without any knowledge. But today we are confident that at least the selective breeding of Rohu, whatever we started about 30 years back, and today the 12th generation of Rohu can give at least a 60% higher growth in the farmers. This we have been demonstrating also in different farmers field in different places of the country. And recent years, we have taken also other species with Katla, another important species, Campi, Micropiano, Russian Burji, Magur, all those species genetic improvement program we have taken. And you see, even at the second, third generation, also 20 to 30% higher growth we have been able to achieve, showing the potential of genetic improvement program. Of course, our focus has been only on the selective breeding. Of course, we are looking for genomic selection or marker state selection and all in the coming days. But for those, we need to have investment and critical manpower in place also. One important technology I like to highlight, we know how cryopreservation is so important or even to help in the livestock sector, all of us know. If you look at the fishery sector globally, probably nowhere in the globe, this has been able to, it has gone to commercial level. Last 2-3 years, we have tried to use in a commercial scale. We have taken this technology to about 30 hatcheries in 12 states in last 3 years. And we have been able to show that this sperm cryopreservation technology can be a useful tool for addressing the inbreeding or overcoming the asynchronous maturation, or the jump plasm exchange, which has been an issue over the years, or there are issues of maybe early late season seed production because the milk availability from male is very limited. Maybe a window is only 1 month or 1.5 months. So if you have a cabbage of sperm, you will be able to use. That is what commercially we have been able to validate and demonstrate. And several F1 generation has also been raised, and we saw the higher growth potential also. Several feeds we have been able to develop. It is not only all those feeds we have only developed, but also commercialized. Most of these feed have been commercialized, and commercial level production is being done by the industry. But when we talk of a feed production, it is not just simple mixing. All of us know we need to understand the nutritional requirement. We need to formulate the feed for different life stages of the same species even. So if we talk of a new species, for example, Siva, starting from the first day till the harvest, we need to have a different formulations. And also we know that the FCR, cost and water stability, is so important. We are trying to work on non-conventional feed ingredients. For example, when we are looking at the high value species, whether it is shrimp or some of the carnivorous species, marine species and all, you know that they need high amount of animal protein or fish meal, or considering the fact that fish meal not available to will be scarce in the coming days, alternative ingredients, whether it is black soldier fly and others. Of course, some of our institute have been working with the Insect Bureau also, bringing out how black soldier fly can be used in the fish feed, and several feed technologies, sinking feeds, semi-floating, floating feeds, and all. Some of the particulate feeds, flex for the ornamentals. And feed management, so important when you talk of farming practices. You need to give all those advocacy, how much time, how many times you need to give, when you need to give, how do you give. All those are important. It is not only the formulation important, all these aspects are equally important. So our institutes have been able to take those technology to the industry level. Health has been one of the important area. All of us know. Whether we like or not, health management will remain relevant, will be getting more important in coming days. So novel formulations, for example, Argulas has been a major problem. It is the ectoparasites, mainly in the calves. We have not been able to manage those parasites. Of course, several pesticides we did use, but all of you know that how pesticide use is not advocated. So some of the novel formulations we have been able to come out, ArgCure, ArgNil, and all those have been commercialized, which I will show in the subsequent slide probably. Diagnostics, vaccines, recently two vaccines also, last week 2 vaccines has been given to some entrepreneurs. Few health additives, surveillance program has been one of the major focus of the division over the years. Last 6 to 7 years, we have been able to reach to almost 20 states, and we have an emergency response system in place, advisories we have been giving, and this disease surveillance has been able to help the country for keeping our export in a sustainable manner, because several countries impose several restrictions. So surveillance has been a important program for all of us. And thanks to the Ministry, Department of Fisheries for the support of this program. First phase, they gave about 32 crore rupees, and the second phase, which started recently, only another 35 crores, they have sanctioned recently. AMR surveillance, I just mentioned today, all of us know how AMR is so important, and not only in the country level, but also at a global level. Also, so the surveillance program, which we have initiated along with the Animal Science Institute and Fishery Research Institute, about 20 institutes are working on those. Then National Repository of Fish Cell Line. 10 years back, we did not have a single cell line before us. We are depending on the cell line from others, but today we have one of the largest, not one of the, it is the largest collection of at one place, 70 fish cell lines at one place. So in the coming days, when we talk of virologic work or again some of the toxicological work, probably this will be handy for us in the coming days. Besides this, I don't want to mention some of the areas may not have direct relevance to the farmers or entrepreneurs, but will have a real relevance in the coming days, taking this technology forward, whether it is genetic characterization. When you talk of again selective breeding program, you need to understand the population of the species on which you have been working, or the genome sequencing. 5 years back, we did not have any capacity to have genome sequencing. Today, we have last 4 years, we have been able to sequence as many as 8 species, all important species, including Indian major carp, catfish, hillshy, as well as the white shrimp, Indian Phineas indicus, and probably global level also you will find probably this is the best genome sequenced so far for the indicus genome, and several other work also. I don't I know the time is running too quickly, but today being the evening, I request DG Saab if 5-10 minutes more I can have, because there will be no more program probably after this presentation. So resource management, as I told, CMFRI and CFRI are the 2 institutes have been working on, or DCFR in the cold water have been working on fishery resources, working on exploration and survey of natural water bodies. For example, our bureau in the biodiversity hotspots have been one of the major focus area. Ecology, biodiversity, fisheries for ecosystem-based management, GIS-based map for all the resources, ponds or water bodies of more than 0.5 hectare. We have completed in 20 states. Some of the maybe suitability map in the Himalayan region where aquaculture can be done. Vulnerability assessment, wetlands are so vulnerable, all of us know, whether it is bills or rather wetlands. So it is so important to have a strategy for any ecosystem-based management measures. So the vulnerability studies we have done, some demonstration also we have tried to do, showing 2 to 3-fold increase in production. River ranching program has been a major area in recent years by the government of India. Whatever the program is going on by taken up by different states through PMSSY are different. Only our CIFRI at Barakpur, last 4-5 years, they have been able to ranch as many as 65 lakh of fingerlings, and I would say here fingerlings means more than 10-20 gram size, and some even up to 200 gram size. So such massive scale program never has happened, and this has been done by under the Namami Gange program. Thanks to Ministry of Jal Shakti for all funding support and gene banks. Again, coming to the marine fisheries resource management, stock assessment has been one of our major area of work, and as on today we have at least 68 species of commercially marine fishes. We have been able to assess the stocks in our coastal waters, and every year we do have annual marine fish landing data we take. CMFRI has been doing this work since 1950s. Large scale assessment of data, and every 5 years we have again census of all this, not only production but also the fishermen. Every aspects of marine fisheries are taken every 5 years. This is taken up by the CMFRI with the DOF government of India. We have mapped also new and conventional resources, which I will be talking maybe in subsequent slides. Several places we have demonstrated that artificial reef deployment can increase the production to substantial level in the coastal waters. So marine mammal stock assessment work also we have initiated recently, again in collaboration with the ministry. Some of the important work on harvest and post-harvest, mainly the harvest, mainly the gears and the craft are so important. Recently, the FB Sagar Harita, the vessel Sagar Harita, which was developed by CIFT, about a 20-meter vessel, it a multi-purpose and energy efficient vessels. Sir, let me like to mention this design of Sagar Harita. Again, CIFT came out with 3 commercial designs, and in last 3 years, as many as 130 such commercially vessels have been, I would say, commissioned by the Cochin shipyard by different state governments. So it is a big technology. Rather, I would say that we need to take credit for that. Several other trawl gears. I don't want to mention all the, whether it is total extrusion device or a juvenile fish extruders, and also important when you talk of conservation measures, or even some of the importing countries for shrimp also impose, unless you have a good TED in place, probably we will not be importing shrimp from India. So in this context, the TED is so important for all of us. When we are talking of expanding the mariculture, we have tried to identify the potential areas for seaweed farming as well as cage farming all along the coast. Again, on GIS maps are available, which area, how good they are or how suitable they are. All those things are available, and which has been done only recently. In the assessment front, we have tried to see which of the species available in which of the zones, and based on that region-specific contribution assemblies, how much pelagic, how much demersal, or how much crustaceans and mollusks are available. That shows this information would be helpful for, again, mainly for the exploitation of our resources which are not exploited. We should be able to have more focus on those. Some potential estimate earlier, if you know that we had potential estimated was about 4.3 million ton in 2018 in collaboration with FSI. We have again had a potential estimate of 5.3. Besides these non-conventional resources, mainly the deep sea myctophids, lanternfish or oceanic squids are so important. We have such resources. The potential has been estimated. For example, this squid, what you see the picture at the right-hand side, the giant purple-back oceanic squid, and the potential is 6 lakh ton. But the issue is how do we harvest this? Because the squid is available up to 400 or 500 meter depth. When our capacity is only to fish only the surface water, maybe 50 meter up to 50 meter depth. So how do we have a better harvesting methodology are so important, but before that, the assessment of potential also equally important, which we did recently. And during the exploration also, if you see in the last 7-8 years, more than 45 species of new fish discovery we have done, new to the science, which is very important. Besides the new records and description and all, I will not go in details. There are several high-value compounds and nutraceuticals from the seaweed. All of us know that seaweed is mainly used for agar production, algae production, or carcinogen production and all. We had not given any focus before, and recent years, only last maybe 5 to 6 years or 8 years, we have been working on nutraceuticals and high-value compounds. And if you look at least all those products which we have developed has been commercialized. 8 has been commercialized and it is available in the market. And not only publication, but also 16 patents have been granted only on the seaweed products. And during this last 5 years or 6 years, as many as 40 patent has been filed, and they are in different stages. And several products we have been able to develop. One of the two products I would like to mention, one is the formalin problem. All of you remember about 3-4 years back, there was a hue and cry for the formalin adulteration or ammonia adulteration in the market, in the fish for preservation they were using. And CIFT immediately came out with this detection kit, which it only cost about 2 rupees. High media today markets, and today it is available in the market. So after that, probably the adulteration has come down. Besides the several products from the fish waste and so on and so forth, which I would not like to mention, or several post-harvest products, whether it is ready to eat product, ready to cook products, and products from different other like analog products and all, which CIFT has come out. Several packaging material is so important at this point of time, because polythene will not be able to use today. So alternative material are so important, which are biodegradable. Even the product from seaweed as a packaging material have shown also having good potential. Several machineries and gadgets, vending kiosks, solar power dryers, and so on and so forth. I don't like to mention all the divisions have been doing. I am sure all of you know, whether it is human resource development, extension work. We train as many as more than 10,000 farmers every year. This is physical one. If you look at during the last COVID period, every year about 50,000 people who were training through online means. And MFSC and PhD program at CIFE has been in the 11 discipline. Probably nowhere in the world we give so many discipline degree, certificate courses, and so forth, which I don't want to narrate because time constant. One thing I would like to mention, the advisories which we released during COVID-19 in 12 languages was highly acclaimed by many. And FAO and WHO also recognized the advisories which we had given. In their website also they had placed. Several databases we have made, but nowadays we are trying to again combining those databases. But some of the databases are online databases which are on different, for example, metagenome barcodes and all, which are available today. But one thing I would like to mention, the Matsya Setu app, which we have released just about a year back. It is some sort. It is not just like other apps. It is an online courses where all the class of maybe 40 minutes to 1 hour class, each of the class video has been made, and after this looking at the video, one can give exam, and then once he passes the exam, then only he or she will get the certificate. It is the certificate will be generated. So all those training modules, and within short period we have about 42,000 users. Besides this, it is we have expanded to.
Jena, now we have to conclude.
Sir, another 10 minutes I will conclude.
Okay, okay, sure.
Thank you, sir. So several. It is also we have taken to a little broaden the horizon to a market, digital market. So recently it has been launched by our Honorable Minister Rupala Sahab. But during this short time of 3 months, 150 people, vendors have registered also. Some of the showcasing our institutes, Honorable Vice President, our Honorable Cabinet Ministers visited some of our. It is only last 2 years only visit. At the same time, our institute have been recognized well. Best Institute Award 19, 20, and 21. Continuously 3 years, our institute bagged this Best Institute Award. And recent ranking you have seen also, 3 of our institutes are within 10 rank. And even the small institute like NBFG are in 18th rank. With only 30 scientists are in place. And at CIFE Mumbai, also A+1 accreditation, all of you know, and our ranking is going up and up from 35 5 years back to 7th position we have been able to achieve. So congratulations to all my colleagues and the directors of the division for those. Then coming to the 10 publication, most only, but here I have given the 10 most important publication based on the impact factor, maybe higher impact factor, but those may not be the highest impact making publication. Many of the publication must have been published in 5 impact factor, but have must have contributed much. So we need to analyze those also. Which are the publication probably has contributed substantially to the sector. Last one I just wanted to mention intentionally because a new fish species which we discovered, which is published in PRJ, of course, not very high impact, 3 public impact factor publication, but the name what we have given is Pangasius icaria in the name of ICAR. So just to highlight the ICAR contribution, this is a new name which is the paper has been published, sir. This analysis we did about a year back, not just analysis, we did up to 20. And if we see the last 3-4 years and before that, publication, yes, it has increased, maybe about 15% overall increase. But if you see the higher impact factor publication, now we are going for higher impact factor publication than the non-rated publications. And besides this, patents, copyrights, trademarks and all, but we need to analyze and update this information also adding 21 and 22. We are asked to give 3 products. Of course, some of the products I had mentioned earlier, but again, the products what I mentioned here, almost all products has gone to the commercial level production and being marketed and available in the market. So I don't like to mention whether it is a nutraceutical feed or some of the products or vaccines. Mostly all of these products, as you see in the second or third column, most of them have been commercialized. And if we look at the achievements, some of the which are not there, as I told, the products, they may not be the only products, but also some of the technology, whether it is breeding technology or the mariculture technology or the site selection, which will be having a greater impact in the coming days, or the sequencing what we have done for some of these species, which will have a greater implication in the coming days for improvement programs in the coming days. Some of the achievements what I have mentioned, instead of, because you will be able to read faster than I read, I don't intend to read line by line, but let me tell you, we have try to see that this goes to the commercial level production through commercialization or through training, demonstration and different levels. And the target product we have envisaged, what we envisage to have in next 3 years, mainly with regard to some feed, vaccines, or the products from the seaweed. Some of the SPF products, even the polykit, for example, so important. India imports so much of polykit for the shrimp hatcheries. So some of these things are so important. Or genetical improvement program, what we have been doing, we need to release them for the society also for their use. Several of the techniques we have been working on at this point of time. For example, seaweed seed is a problem, so we have been trying to work on micropropagation for growth improvement of native strain, whether Gracilaria, Gelidiella, or so and so forth. So we are thinking in next 2-3 years we will come out with several impact-making technologies or product which will be helpful for boosting the production and commercial level production also. One product in the next 1 year, so we envisage another 4-5 months will come out with some of the products. Some of these products already we are already in pipeline. Some another 4-5 months we will be able to see that these products are released in an appropriate platform wherever our DGs have suggest, and then commercialize those products. I don't intend to read those again. Several initiatives which we have taken recently. in different areas, so whether with regard to estimation of unconventional after or untapped deep sea resources, microplastic pollution, all of you know in G20 also, marine litters will be one of the agenda point for discussion. Which is a major pollution problem in the not only in India but globally. Biosensors for water detection is so important, precision aquaculture, and then large-scale seed production for seaweed. And one of the important area we have been working at this point of time is the selective breeding of Indian white stream indicas for growth and disease resistance. Is an important area which we think another 5-6 years we will have at least third generation improved seed in place. Several growth system for ornamental and food fishes. Vaccine development is one of the major target for us, considering the fact that new diseases are causing problem. Nutraceuticals, high-end food products are important. Green refrigeration system. This is what the budget we have got. If you look at, sir, last 4 years, it is going down from 145 to 130, and to this year we have got 118 crores. So nothing much to say. All the divisions you have same issue, so I don't intend to discuss much. But our utilization has been about 90%, 99% all the time. Several initiatives we are trying to have for resource generation, mainly the fast tracking commercialization and technology, which is important. But at the same time, it is important to assess the technology potential and market potential. Just last, I would give an example. One product in 97, CIPA had CIPAX, they licensed in 5 lakhs.
Dr. Jena, we have to conclude.
Yes, sir. So several of these, I think all the divisions have similar, whether it is extramural project funding and all. Sir, this is what we try to analyze. We get also substantial funding from the extramural projects. If you look at last 4 years, at least about 150 crores rupees we have got from external funding, which we consider substantial, but there is all the time higher scope for getting that. So how do you have more projects? Extramural projects are so important. Initiative for reducing expenditure, all of us know. We have been last 4 or 5 presentations, similar thing we have been talking, rationalizing things, and use DG Saab also had told several times, so there is no point. The collaborations we are trying to have with some of the private agencies. In 2 minutes, I will close, sir. And challenges first, all of us know whether it's budget, state of infrastructure we do not have, old structures. All other division also had told the same problem. Increasing expectations, sir. The expectations have increased several fold. With same manpower, same resources, we all are in our toes. So probably how do we meet those expectations are so important before us. And then maybe competency we need to improve. We are asked to have undergraduate program under NEP, but no separate budget. So I request DG Saab and DDG Education to look into it before we, and several suggestions all of you have given, not new, but we know how do we encourage for the extramural projects are so important. Convergence are so important. So I don't intend to read, probably you can read faster than me. Focus on some of the areas like water conservation measure, cleanliness drive, all have been the national missions. How do we implement those are so important. Revenue generation. I do consider NES, TSP and SPSP fund is an opportunity for us to have technology dissemination program. That is what is so important before us. Headquarters, I do not know what we need to, all of us have been talking of same thing every time, whether mandatory international short-term training for young researchers within 5 years is so relevant when they are shaping their career. Then revenue uses and all those have been talked time and again. So thank you very much, sir, for sparing time. So I am unsharing. I think I closed in 1 hour just.
Yeah. No, that's fine. That's fine, Dr. Jena. I think this is an excellent presentation by any standard. And today, let me also acknowledge I really learned several new things. Though I could say that I am a voracious fish eater, but I really didn't know several of the things. And friends, all of you know, those who eat fish, their meal is not complete without at least a small piece of fish. So, Dr. Jena, thank you very much for sharing so many information, and also my congratulations for all the achievements. Very good achievements. I think fisheries division is one of our very successful and very productive division, I must say. Like fisheries sector itself is a very rising one in the whole country. The growth rate in fisheries sector, as you very rightly mentioned, is the fastest among all other sectors. And similarly, the achievements of all the institutes in terms of technologies, products, patents, publications. And of course, you rightly mentioned that impact factor may not be, complete in all the time. But if people want, you can also put number of citations of a particular publication. So that will be really giving some good idea, better idea besides the impact factor. And of course, very good ranking of most of the fisheries institutes. And my congratulations to each and every one, the directors and all the staff. And of course, especially to you, Dr. Jena, being the head of all those institutes. So friends, with this, we can now take a few questions, comments, or suggestions from all of you. So if anyone you would like to suggest something, raise some of the points, give your suggestions for the fisheries SMD. Now you are welcome to do that. And my request is you please raise your hands so that I will be able to identify and recognize you. Okay. And then Dr. Jena, you need not to respond immediately. At the end, if you feel, you can respond to some of those comments. Okay, so let me first go to IIWM Bhubaneswar. Peace, and then pass to water only. Yes,
hello,
water.
Sir, I am audible?
Yes, please go ahead.
Sir, on behalf of the staff of Indian Sea Water Management and on my personal behalf, I wish to congratulate our DDG, Dr. Jena, for an excellent presentation covering wide areas. I have three specific, not questions, but some clarifications. I was wondering about that the seaweed-based product, pharmaceutical nutraceutical. But is there any possibility that we can go for omega-3, which can also be effective for lifestyle related, and also we can generate some funds if we can have that omega-3 production. And second, sir, the protocol developed for the constructed wetlands and the natural occurring wetland ecosystem, or the fish saving protocol, can be shared with all these so that can be replicated. And then the last question is that regarding the very good work on use of geospatial technologies. And if that also can be converted to some mobile application and also distance support system, and we can use that in a mobile app to trace the monitor, and also management of the fish resources in Pan India. Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much, Dr. Sarangi. Friends, let us also congratulate Dr. Sarangi. Very recently, he has joined as the director of IIWM. So, Dr. Sarangi, congratulations and all the best from all of us.
Thank you.
Let's go quickly to Dr. Jha. Dr. Jha, please.
Thank you very much. Really, it was an outstanding presentation by Dr. Jena. As usual, his presentation always very good, and this is not the exceptions. I have some suggestions, though we can give here also in meetings. And since I am also a fish eater, being from the Mithilanchal area, and it is being told and felt many times that देसी फिश, देसी रोहू, हम लोग ज्यादा रोहू खाते हैं. जो हमारा तालाब का रोहू है या नदी का है वो ज्यादा टेस्टी होता है, और लोग कहते हैं ये आंध्रा का है, अच्छा नहीं है. So only the yield or growth is not important. So what is the constraint? What are that should also be looked into. And दूसरा है जो हमें कहा गया है और हमें अनुभव भी है थोड़ा सा बचपन से जानते हैं, यदि फिश को ज्यादा स्ट्रेस में ज्यादा देर रखते हैं तो उसका टेस्ट भी कम हो जाता है. What is the relationship between that? Stress management by the fish and fish management by the scientist, so that टेस्ट स्ट्रेस के कारण यदि हम उसको बांध के रखे हैं, जिंदा करके रखे हैं और स्ट्रेस में है तो भी टेस्ट का खराब हो रहा है. ये कुछ आइडिया है कि माने उसको काम माने प्रोडक्टिविटी बढ़ जाता है, उससे ही नहीं होगा, थोड़ा टेस्ट और उससे न्यूट्रिशन पे भी फर्क पड़ता होगा. दूसरा, आपने बहुत अच्छा प्रोडक्शन साइड में किया है. यूजुअली आई सेड फॉर अदर डिवीजन आल्सो ओनली प्रोडक्शन प्रोडक्शन प्रोडक्शंस, देयर इज नो आफ्टर प्रोडक्शन. ये पानी इतना इम्पोर्टेंट है, हो सकता है कुछ साल बाद जना सब आपको फिशरी के लिए पानी नहीं मिलेगा. तो what alternative are you thinking? That less water, no water and fish. कम जैसे मांगुर है और गैंची हम लोग बोलते हैं किचन में होता है, बिना पानी का भी काफी देर जिंदा रहता है. देख क्यों नहीं हम रोहू और इस पर ये थोड़ा टेक्निक कुछ सोचें जो बिना पानी का ज्यादा से ज्यादा इसको हम जिंदा रख सकें. उस डायरेक्शन में शायद काम किए हो आप लोग, पता नहीं, लेकिन नहीं है तो होना चाहिए. वाटर रिक्वायरमेंट हमने बोल ही दिया. फिश का सर्वाइवल बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट है. दूसरा है जब प्रोडक्शन बढ़ाते जा रहे हैं तो कंजम्पशन उस रेट से तो होगा नहीं. व्हाट इज अबाउट द स्टोरेज ऑफ फिश, लाइव फिश हो या ड्राइड फिश हो, there is no thinking, no touch in fishery division. I think that we also see. You know that in post harvest कोई भी फिश हम कुकिंग करके करते हैं. मैं लगता है कोई भी फिश.
डॉक्टर चा थोड़ा ब्रीफ और
हो गया सर.
करना पड़ेगा.
सो हीट ट्रांसफर, कम हीट में कैसे कुकिंग हो और उसका कैसे हो, इस पर भी थोड़ा काइनेटिक्स वगैरह पर ध्यान दें. एर्गोनॉमिक्स जो फिशर है उस पर ध्यान दें. एर्गोनॉमिक्स क्या होता है, डिजाइन उसको क्या माने कितना कितना कठिन है, उसको कैसे समायोजित किया जाए. वेसल डिजाइन एक आपने करवाया है, क्या है, बहुत अच्छा. कंग्रेचुलेशन फॉर दैट एंड सम मोर फैसिलिटी रिक्वायर्ड ऑन दैट. थैंक यू.
थैंक यू वेरी मच डॉक्टर झा. फिशरीज और इंजीनियरिंग डिवीजन को साथ साथ बैठना पड़ेगा काफी दिन तक. और आई मिस्ड डॉक्टर सरंगी IIWM. I really do not know. See, fish and water, fish without water and fish, of course, that is not possible. But how many projects you have with SIFA and others? You need not respond now. Please consider these things. So water, fish, rice. NRI Cuttack is also there, very close to your institute. You please see how best you all of you could work together. Let me request Dr. Birthal, please.
Thank you, sir, for giving this. I have a couple of suggestions.
Sure.
And this Fisheries Institute, I think they have about 7 or 8 economists. And I didn't find any impact studies because you have made an excellent exposition of the technological change that has happened, whether in terms of genetic improvement or improvement in the feed and nutrition. So I suggest that, of course, this should be maybe in a network mode of the economist in the Fisheries Institute that may be taken on a priority basis. Another is, sir, I don't have seen any study the impact of climate change on fisheries in India. And CMFRI has a long series data for 50 years for different landing stations. So maybe this is one of the areas that may be looked into. Another is, of course, that you have rightly mentioned that nutraceuticals from seaweed. So what's its market potential? That would provide us further impetus to do more of the research in this area. Sir, one general question for all of us, that relates to SCSP funds. Because we generally go for distribute the inputs to the farmer, some equipments, etc. But we never conduct any kind of gap analysis or the baseline kind of surveys, so that we can assess the impact of the intervention that we are making for the weaker sections of the society. And this has come from that Niti Ayog's that review of ICAR regarding SCSP fund also. So maybe some studies rather than just focusing on distribution of the inputs, etc. Let's have a kind of, do some gap analysis in the system. What actually are their requirements and how we can help them and what is their impact. So these are some of my suggestions, sir.
Thank you very much, Dr. Birthal. My request to you will be, as you have been very keenly listening to all the presentations so far, and every time you also give very good suggestions, that impact assessment is very important. So my request to you will be, you please come out with a kind of pro forma for all the SMDs
Sure,
and sit
sir.
together maybe half day or so. Let us all discuss about it, how we'll be able to do this impact assessment of various technologies, products, several of those, including today what Dr. Jena presented before all of us.
Yeah.
So thank you very much, Dr. Bittar, for your very good suggestions. Anybody else would like to suggest anything or any comment, any observation? CSW, CRTI, your message is coming, but I cannot see your hand. Is it that they are in the attendees or they are as the panelist? Oh, yes. Again, Siva Bhubaneswar.
Sir, this is regarding it was mentioned that the water bodies more than 0.5 hectare have been mapped for 20 states. Is it possible to share the shape file of the map so that what is happening in the socio-economic environment around these water bodies can be mapped? We have the data, but we don't have the shape files for these things. If it is possible, it is very difficult to share these files. If it is shared, we can analyze the socio-economic environment around these water bodies.
Okay, Dr. Saab, thank you very much. Any other? If not, Dr. Jena, would you like to comment briefly on the observations made so far?
Thank you very much, sir. Not too many observations, but whatever was told on mainly omega-3 production. Omega-3 production we have done, CIFT has come out with several formulation on omega-3 and which have been commercialized also, mainly from the fish waste and so forth. So probably we will be able to share those. And then some of the information he wanted on wetlands and all, which we will give. Dr. Jha, all the time, whatever you say is relevant, definitely. We produce so much, but how do we use better way is important, and that to product like perishable product. We have processing factories in place, more than 500, but all are meant for the export. But cold chain facility and for keeping the preservation time in a longer period and all, still we need to work. We have been working, mainly the CIFT has been working, but probably it is necessary for us that engineering institute and we combinedly work on some of these areas. Definitely we will try to work on some of this. Of course, desi andhra fish and all of us know when it comes from the natural environment. Mainly the natural feed, plankton and all they take, and the growth rate is quite slow, but it is over the years growth, the taste definitely becomes better when it comes from the river and all. But studies has been done on all those things, the change of taste and all, some work has been done. But one area you just mentioned, I did not mention much, work on water. Truly you mentioned this, that whether fresh water will be available for aquaculture tomorrow or not, we do not know. Another 20 years or 30 years down the line, Honorable DG Saab is the person working on climate change and all. He has definitely concern also that whether fish will be available from the ponds. So we need to come out with new farming system where we utilize less water. That is what, whether we talk of RS and all, conservation technology, water conservation technology, how do we increase the productivity, water use efficiency, all those areas we have been working. Of course, one of the CRP on water, CIFA and the Water Technology Institute have been working on those areas, but we need to intensify this work. Water will be a primary thing, but at the same time, we need to look at when we are talking of the marine farming and all, so much of engineering is necessary, sir. For example, mooring the cage is so important. How do you see that the cage is not blown away?
Dr. Jena, you have to be brief in response also.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And the cold chains and all, we have been working, but more work we need to do with the engineering, definitely.
Okay.
The Vittal Saab has rightly mentioned, even though we, along with the NIAF, we had tried to have impact studies, but that is only 3 or 4 technology we did, sir, which was published. It is high time that this also I had discussed earlier also. Now also we will see that Vittal Saab and myself, we will have a discussion. How do we bring our economists from our institute as well as from NIAF so that more technology we can bring for one discussion we had earlier, but nothing we did proceed. So this is one area. Climate change,
Dr.
rightly,
Jena,
sir. Yes, sir.
Dr. Jena, two more hands are there. So let us take their suggestions also. One is from, I think, Division of Environmental Sciences, IARI.
And NIAP also.
And also NIAP. Let us take from NIAP first.
Good evening, sir. Crustaceans remain one of our important exportable items to USA and Europe. But when we look at the export rejections, we find that salmonella remains one of the major reasons for rejection of our export consignments from USA and Europe. So when USA is our major market, can we think of integrating this kind of technical barrier to trade in our research system so that our exports are sustained and we get higher premium in the international market? Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Dr. Jena, the question from Division of Environmental Science, because I cannot see them on the screen, they have sent the message. Is there any study on zoonotic diseases that fishes can cause? So somebody must be very worried about that one. Okay, very quickly, if you would like to respond.
Yes, sir. One thing Dr. Bithal sir mentioned about the climate change impact on fisheries, sir, under the, you know very well, under the NICRA program and all, substantial work has been done, and several publication has come out, but probably we need to collate and all those that we will do. The market potential study and all was one of the area. And water bodies, CY wanted information that we will share definitely. Sir, zoonotic study, several work we have done, but till today, we did not find any issue with regard to the transfer of disease, fish disease going to human health and all. Today, we do not have any concern, zoonotic disease concern from disease from fish to animal, fish to human being. And export rejection, yes, export rejection is happening not only with regard to salmonella, with maybe for maybe antibiotics residues and all. But this is not due to problem is our collection are from non-point sources. When the factory take from different sources, even some get mixed also, that causes. And such rejection, if you compare with any international other countries also, this happens almost with every country, but we need to have a check and balance. So as because our shrimp is the major commodity for the export, so several precautionary measures are being taken at the different levels, EIA level, Coastal Aquaculture Authority level and all. So we are concerned, but not much of because of research, researchable thing. But again, some of the antimicrobial use, for example, we have been trying to work, for example, till today, we say that how many, which cannot be used, but there is no prescription which can be used. So our network projects are working on the, which are the antibiotics which can be used at a safer level. So that those areas we have been working and we will be able to support to the industry in coming days.
Thank you, Dr. Jena. Thank you very much, friends. We would conclude this discussion at this point. But once again, I thank each and every one of you for participating in such a large number and taking active interest. On December 15th, day after tomorrow at 2 o'clock, we are going to have a special presentation come discussion on International Year of Millet. The mail has already been sent, or it will be sent to all of you. You know, next year, 2023, is being celebrated all over the world by International Year of Millet. So several ministries, and particularly DAR and ICAR, are actively working on this. So on that day, we shall discuss with all of you what is our plan, what we are going to do, and also we shall take your suggestions of how best we will be able to not only celebrate it, but also take millets to everybody, nationally as well as internationally. So we shall have a detailed discussion, and Dr. D.K. Yadav, our DDG seed, has already sent the message. We will be meeting at 2 o'clock on December 15th. Friends, with this, we conclude. I once again thank Dr. Jena and of course all the fisheries institutes for their excellent work, for all these achievements which they have achieved over the years. And I'm sure in times to come also, they are going to produce even better. Their achievements are going to be even better than what we could achieve earlier. Now for the final words, I shall request Dr. Agrawal.
Before Agrawal sir, I will take a half minute, sir.
Please,
I would
please,
like
please,
to
please,
thank
please.
profusely to you for the opportunity you have given. I thought this being in the evening, so I will have more questions from the different institutes, but probably it was not there. But I will have an opportunity to interact with other colleagues of different institutes.
But I am sure everybody has enjoyed your presentation. They have received a lot of new information, and I'm sure they are also motivated by the achievements of the SMD of our fishery sciences. So thank you, Dr. Jena. Thank you once again.
Thank you very much, sir, for your good words. And I would like to thank also my colleague directors and my colleagues of all institute providing me the material different for my presentation. And each one of the institute directors to DDG to scientists, everyone for your patience hearing and for staying at late hours. Thank you so much. And Agrawal sir for everything.
Over to Dr. Agrawal for final words.
Thank you very much, sir. Sir, I thank you very much, Honorable DG, ICAR and Secretary Dare. So thank you for initiating these presentations and chairing these sessions, sir. And always encouraging all of us for all purpose. Thanks the speaker of the day, Dr. J.K. Jena, DDG Fishery Science, for excellent presentation and his humble way of presentation also, along with the excellent presentation. And he took everybody together, his institutes. I'm thankful to AS and Secretary, AS and FA, all the esteemed DDGs, all the directors of the ICAR institutes, all the scientists, technical people, all the ICAR staff, ADG, scientists, technical, everybody. Also my colleague from CAUs and SAUs, whosoever are there. SAU, couple of there, SAU also some people have participated. Atari, our Atari colleagues, and KVK. The KVK staff may not be interacting, but they are all, a huge number, they are listening and they are participating other way. And all other colleagues and friends, whosoever are listening and presenting and participating. From ICAR side, from my side, thank you very much, all of you. And let us go on doing the same thing more vibrant way and more meaningful. And whatever the Honorable DG observes or speaker observes, when we make it, we translate it to work. That will be also a great achievement. So again, congratulations to everybody and thank you everybody. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. See you next day. See you day after tomorrow.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.
Please stay back because